This is not about a particular political ideology. This is about our basic, fundamental democratic right.
It has been a tumultuous month for that professor and some students regarding free speech on campus. How are people reacting to changing decisions?
And new laws may have far-reaching consequences for colleges across the state. You'll hear from some students who don't think their voices are being heard. And later,
and ultimately, if nothing has been done before symptoms start, you're a goner.
Some local San Martians may have been exposed to a deadly disease. We'll tell you what and where coming up.
Can't find a parking spot? You aren't the only one, but the university launched some new technology that just might help. Hi, and thanks for joining us. I'm Sabrina Sneed.
And I'm Sarah Bergen. Welcome to Bobcat Update. The university made a controversial decision to fire a history professor last month for his comments made at a leftist conference. A court ruled the professor wasn't given due process, and he was reinstated until this week.
But just this week, he was fired again. Reporter Emily Chopin caught up with the professor at a gathering at the courthouse to protest his firing.
Texas State University attracted national attention over free speech in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Dr. Thomas Alter, a tenured associate history professor, was abruptly terminated. Dr. Alter attended the Revolutionary Socialism Conference on September 7th, off campus, where he shared his support for democratic socialism. The next day, Karlin Bursenko, a conservative streamer who attended the virtual conference, shared a recording of Alter's remarks that went viral and called for him to be fired. On September 10th, the president of Texas State, Kelly Dampis, released a statement describing Alter's actions as serious professional and personal misconduct and terminated his employment effective immediately. Alter then filed a lawsuit against the university for violating his First Amendment right to free speech and claimed that they didn't give him due process. Alter's termination was followed by a student withdrawing from the university after mimicking Kirk's shooting at a memorial for the political activist on campus. Both incidents led to the discussion about students' and faculty's free speech rights on and off campus.
The building behind me is the Hays County Historic Courthouse in San Marcos, Texas, where the Texas State Employees Union organized a rally last Thursday, September 25th, in support of Dr. Alter. Community members, TSEU participants, students, and local politicians gathered here to speak in solidarity with Dr. Alter.
But at no point should the employer decide on behalf of a radical YouTuber.
Alter himself shared his frustrations with being fired from the university.
This is not about a particular political ideology. This is about our basic, fundamental democratic right.
Thank you.
Other faculty members who attended also commented on the professor's firing, but wanted to stay anonymous out of fear of retaliation from the university or activists off campus. One professor told us the administration doesn't have the faculty's back and that professors were full of panic and concern. On September 26th, a district judge ordered the university to let Alter back to work pending a more formal investigation. Alter isn't teaching, but he is being paid again. From Bobcat Update, I'm Emily Chopin.
President Dampis issued another statement shortly after he fired Alter this week. He acknowledges tensions on campus over free speech and other issues, and admits these are challenging times for higher education. Dampis says his mission is always to do his best to elevate the university. You can read more about that statement at our news partner, the University Star.
In addition to Dr. Alter being dismissed last month, a student also withdrew from the university after a free speech event. He was seen on social media mimicking the Charlie Kirk shooting during a memorial to Kirk. The next day, Governor Abbott shared the video, and the student met with university leaders, then withdrew. That student, Devion Canty, says he was only responding to racist taunts in the crowd at that memorial. Shortly after he withdrew from the university, President Kelly Dampis issued a statement to address that alleged racism. The president wrote, "Unfortunately, some people are suggesting that the individual's actions represent the beliefs of Texas State students in general or those of specific student organizations. These kinds of insinuations are unfair to our student body, and they cause some of our students to feel unsafe. Just as the behavior in the video was reprehensible, attempts to spread the blame onto innocent students are also unacceptable. The actions of one person do not reflect our entire community or the individuals in it.
Multiple Black student organizations held a march from First 5 Freedom Hall to the Fighting Stallions to protest Canty's withdrawal. They said it was also because of what they see as unequal restrictions on free speech. Reporter Carson Hill talked with some of the leaders of the demonstration.
Everyone here represents a purpose greater than themselves. As I give my speech, you can tell I'm nervous.
Black student organizations gathered at Texas State University, protesting the administration's handling of freshman Devion Canty, who unenrolled from the school after a video of him disrupting a memorial for Charlie Kirk gained traction on social media.
It seems like, people are picking sides, picking and choosing when to act, the people that are supposed to be protecting us. Like, free speech is not, it's not free, it's not equal for everybody on campus, obviously. The school obviously showed that, they picked their side.
Organizers argued that the university's response to the situation has not been equally applied to incidents of racist speech on campus. Among those, Charles Onwuke, president of Black Men United.
I think when white people go radical and exotic with their free speech, the university doesn't see a problem with it, but when minorities do the bare minimum, it becomes an issue. I think the best thing that can come out of this is the university seeing our presence and them hearing our thoughts and opinions.
Speaking to a crowd that included University President Kelly Damphus, students preached unity.
I hear a lot of people saying this is not really going to do anything, but what's the other choice? The other choice is what, we don't do anything. So there's a saying, the flutter of a butterfly's wings causes a tsunami across the world. So this, you never know what this might take. People can hear this. This is obviously being broadcasted. So you never know what eyes can see these things.
The Black student organizations behind this event have said they will continue making their concerns known with the university.
Texas lawmakers created new legislation affecting free expression on Texas campuses. Some students and staff have expressed concerns about the new policies and restrictions. We attended some expressive activities on campus to see how the new law is working.
On September 2nd, Texas State University has implemented new policies relating to free speech held on campus. After Senate Bill 2972 was signed by Governor Greg Abbott in June, colleges now have the power to regulate when, where, and how individuals assemble on campus.
Texas State has now put into place new restrictions, also known as the Expressive Activities Policy. The policy states any individual that is not affiliated with the university wanting to peacefully assemble must do so in a new designated area, Bobcat Trail.
We got the opportunity to talk with Dr. Gilbert D. Martinez, a Texas State professor of instruction in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Here are his thoughts on the new free speech policy.
On campus, I am aware of some of those changes, and as I teach in my media law class, there are times when there are appropriate time, place, manner restrictions that may apply, so long as they are content neutral, right? They're unrelated to the message of what someone might be expressing.
Mason Lemmy is a senior studying exercise science. Here are his thoughts about freedom of speech held on campus.
I think they've learned more just in the past week from that example, and they're going to be like, okay, we can't say everything we want to or do everything we want to, even though that's protected in our country. But I think there should be rules on a college campus because we should be just voices that are not spreading that stuff.
The new policy has been put to use relocating speakers, activists, and protesters not from campus. Texas State has made it very clear they plan to uphold the First Amendment on campus, including individual rights like speech, petition, and assembly.
A bat was found at the San Marcos outlets near the Le Creuset cooking-ware store. Officials say a group of teenagers touched the bat, which turned out to be infected with rabies.
Those teens haven't been identified, but an expert we talked to said rabies is extremely dangerous. Reporter Juliana Moreno shares what you need to know.
San Marcos is home to one of the biggest outdoor malls in the country. While you might find some great deals and high-end fashion here at the Tanger outlets, the last thing you would think is to find a bat infected with rabies.
On Saturday, August 2nd, a bat was found outside of the Le Creuset cookware that tested positive for rabies. Witnesses say that a group of teenagers were seen touching the bat before Animal Protection Services could come in time. While the search for these teenagers is still ongoing, it is important to understand the dangers of coming into contact with animals infected with the disease.
And ultimately, if nothing has been done before symptoms start, you're a goner.
We spoke with Dr. Rodney E. Rode, Regents Professor and Chair at the Medical Laboratory Science Program, to get why it's important for those teenagers to come forward.
That person may or may not have to undergo vaccination and post-exposure prophylaxis. And you start showing symptoms within 14, 15, 20 days, they're still going to try that and they might even do some other antiviral therapy. But in reality, it's a death sentence at that point.
Officials say anyone who has come in contact with wildlife, such as bats, should seek medical attention immediately.
Even if you don't have rabies in the mix, you could still pick up a really dangerous bacterial infection. There's a number of other pathogens that are problematic. So you should just use caution always with any types of wildlife or feral animals.
This is Juliana Moreno with Texas State.
Maybe you've noticed that it's suddenly a little harder to park this semester, or that you're waiting a bit longer to get food. The reason is there are more Bobcats enrolled than we've ever had before. The university newsroom reports that more than 44,500 students are enrolled this semester, 10% more than we've ever had before. 9,400 of those students are freshmen, which is also a record. If you've noticed that you've had to wait a little longer at Commons, Jones, or Harris dining halls, well, the university noticed too. That's why another big new dining hall is in the works. It'll be built into the new Hilltop 2 dorm complex, opening in 2027.
It'll be 2 towers, a little over 1,500 beds, and also it'll include I think about a 500 to 550 seat dining facility as well. So when we did our campus master plan, we saw that we're short, on places to provide food services. That was something that students were asking for, and it kind of plays out. Like if you look at when you look at the other like Harris Dining, Jones Dining. They do have some dining options over in the LBJ Student Center. We still saw that, we're not meeting the demand yet.
Again, Hilltop 2 and that new dining hall are scheduled to open in 2 years, in August of 2027.
The university requires most freshmen to live on campus unless they're commuting from nearby, but Texas State didn't have enough beds to close to 10,000 freshmen until now. Reporter Ronnie Lee Miller gives us a look inside the new 7-story, 942-bed Castro Hall.
Texas State has achieved yet another record-breaking enrollment year, welcoming almost 9,400 new freshmen. With the start of the Texas State Fall 2025 semester, Castro Hall opened its doors to over 900 first-year students. The addition of Castro Hall provides 942 new beds, new study rooms, a laundry room filled with washers and dryers that are free to use, and even a gaming room to accommodate for the plentiful new Bobcats. Due to the rapid growth in Texas State's population, Castro Hall was swiftly built in order to provide housing for the incoming Bobcats.
If you're a student and you're living on campus, especially like your first couple of years, you're more likely to be successful, right? You build community, you have a lot of support that's in place for you. And so being able to provide housing for us is one of the strategies that we're using to try to, get students to graduation. And so we were short. And so there was a high demand for it. And so we wanted to be able to get it, in service as quickly as possible.
Despite the impressive speed at which Castro Hall was built, an anonymous student argued that it may have been opened a bit too quickly.
Castro, everyone said it was built so quickly just to be able to handle all the incoming students. So I definitely think there needs to be a little more planning in terms of the growth. Like, just because you want to grow doesn't always mean you should. Because obviously we're seeing, there's still construction going on right across the street. There's still construction going on in this dorm. Like, it's literally going on right now. So I think it's a good thing, but I do think that maybe there needs to be future planning to handle how many people we actually want to be coming into Texas State.
Others say that the new growth is exciting and beneficial to the university.
I think it puts the school on the map. People love to talk about, UT or A&M and how they're like, oh my God, these schools are so goated. But to, the growing population, I think people will know the school more, which, can make it more appealing to students trying to find a school to go to.
From Castro Hall, I'm Ronnie Lee Miller with Bobcat Update.
Hey Sarah, did you get out to any homecoming events?
I did. I spent some time at the Soapbox Derby. Student orgs wheeled themselves into a good time at one of the most popular homecoming events.
Another fan favorite, the homecoming football game. At one point, the Bobcats were up by 3 touchdowns, so what could go wrong?
What just happened?
Yeah, about that.
Texas State rolled out something new to help with what a lot of us consider our biggest campus headache. It's a parking app aimed at helping us find open spots.
Speaking of parking, a popular lot near Sewell Park isn't free anymore. Will you have to pay to hang out at the river?
San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter's mission is to care for, protect, and find quality homes for abandoned and neglected animals. Approximately 6.5 million animals enter shelter, and nearly 3 million of those animals are adopted each year. More than half of those animals are left in the shelter without a home. Save a life and adopt or foster today. Contact the San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter at 512-805-2650. San Marcos Regional Animal Shelter, protecting and saving the lives of the pets of San Marcos.
We mentioned record enrollment earlier. That means more students in campus housing, waiting in line for food, registering for classes. It also means more people trying to park on campus. Texas State's Parking and Transportation Services is trying something new this semester, a phone app. It will actually show spaces on different lots around campus and tell you how many there are. The app partly relies on user data.
And what that does, I just encourage everybody to log on to that, because it's one of those things where the information is only as good as the participation. And so what it does is when you get on the parking app, it tells you where spaces are available.
The app launched the 3rd week in August, right before school started. It will not only show available parking spaces, but remind you where you parked. And it's free.
Texas State introduced a pay-to-park service at Sewell Park, and some students are worried it'll get in the way of afternoons at the river. But we found out that not everybody has to pay.
I made my way to Sewell Park to see for myself how the new parking system works.
As the new fall semester begins, the number of students on campus increases, as Texas State enrollment rises 10%, growing to a generous 44,000 students. But with the increase in numbers, what does that mean for space, specifically parking spaces on campus? On July 1st, Texas State University has implemented paid parking surrounding Sewell Park and the University Event Center. There are 5 parking lots open to the public around Sewell, but they are not free. Like this one in Lot 13, there are QR codes surrounding the lot where you pay $5 for all-day parking on weekends and after 3 p.m. on weekdays. Garrett Greeny is a senior studying construction science. Here is his thoughts on the new pay-to-park around Sewell.
Well, with limited parking as a commuter, it's hard to park. It's always full, so you drive from far away and you come here and you know where to park, so you can't even enjoy it. Or you park somewhere you're not supposed to because it's full and you get a parking ticket. You have to drive around for literally like 30 minutes and hope to catch somebody leaving half the time to even find a spot. And then you're a mile walk, and if not, then you got to go park all the way by like the square for free parking.
We got the opportunity to talk with Associate Vice President for Facilities at Texas State, Dan Costello.
If you have a parking permit let's say you bought a residential permit. On weekends, you can still park there free of charge, right? As long as you have a university parking permit, you can park in those parking lots on the weekends free of charge. And so really it was about, it's about visitors who are maybe trying to go to City Park or maybe some of the other areas that may want to use that parking. The city moved the City Park, converted to parking, paid parking as well over this past spring. And so we're just kind of following suit on that.
University police have made it very clear they will increase parking enforcement in these areas.
We just wrapped up a homecoming week. There were service projects, a talent show, and a glow run.
And some other old favorites, the soapbox derby and a football game. Reporter Tyson Barnes joins us live from the newsroom with a couple of stories from homecoming. Tyson?
Thanks, Sarah and Sabrina. No surprise, but campus was packed Saturday for the homecoming football game. Social media posts also showed a huge afternoon tailgate full of fans waiting for the game to kick off at 7. And once it did kick off, it got exciting in a hurry. Texas State has really struggled against the Troy Trojans, winning only once of the last 14 games dating back 28 years. But the Cats were up by 3 touchdowns in the first half. Then Troy tied it with a minute left. The Cats marched downfield, setting up a field goal, but missed it. That sent the game into the overtime, and this happened.
What just happened?
Troy scored a touchdown in the first possession in overtime, then stopped Texas State 4 times for the win. Coach G.J. Kinney described it as a crazy game for the second week in a row. Thanks to the Texas State alumni and host of Squaring Around podcast, Jacob Rodriguez, for this video. That was crazy, but crazy is a good way of describing another homecoming tradition, the Soapbox Derby. The Soapbox Derby has been a homecoming tradition at the university since 1967. 20 student organizations and clubs' handmade cars are launched down a large ramp. They race down a hill, stopped by brakes, gravity, or as a last result, by running into the safety hay bales. Large crowds gathered to watch as Pi Kappa Alpha took the crown. Sabrina, Sarah, that's all I have for you right now, but watch for our homecoming edition of Bobcat Update coming soon.
Tyson, thanks. That's all we have for this edition of Bobcat Update. Thanks so much for joining us.
Watch this space for more news by students for students. We'll see you soon.